All right, Westmore Central High School, Matt Ferreri, Director of School Counseling, here again. This time, we're meeting with Joelle Rankins Goodwin, Senior Associate Director for Recruitment and Outreach at the University of Oregon. Joelle, how are you today?
I'm doing really well. It's a great day to be a duck.
It's always a great day to be a duck. Thank you for taking the time to do this. And before you get into our questions and you tell us a little bit about your school, behind me here is Belushi from the movie Animal House, which many of my students probably have never seen or ever heard of. But
Right.
many of the scenes filmed right there on campus, yes?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The scene with the horse in the president's office was filmed in Johnson Hall, which is where the president's office is. The food fight scene is filmed in the student union, in the what we call the fishbowl. And then some of the scenes around town, the parade is filmed in a town about 20 minutes south of here called Cottage Grove. So yeah.
Very neat, very neat. So, listen, tell us a little bit more about the university, other than the fact that it appeared in the movie a long time ago.
It's actually appeared in numerous movies, a lot of track movies. As you might know, we were known as Tracktown USA here. Uh,
Prefontaine, right?
Pardon?
Prefontaine.
Prefontaine,
Yep.
absolutely, absolutely. Under Coach Bill Bowerman, many years ago, he kind of, this is the where the jogging craze started. He started by inviting community members to the track, to historic Hayward Field, and just start jogging and these groups and stuff, just everyday people. So it kind of started here, and as many folks know, someone named Phil Knight, who founded that or co-founded that little company called Nike. Together, he and Bill Bowerman started Nike. Phil Knight he's a graduate of the University of Oregon and has been a great benefactor to our campus.
So the relationship between the school and Nike is still very strong.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, great. So which probably leads to a lot of great opportunities for your students in a number of areas.
It does. It does. Yeah. One thing, I know we're going to talk a little bit about this later, but one of the things that came from that relationship, we have we have the first sports marketing program, the Warsaw Sports Marketing Program, which is housed in our business school. And so you're going to, not just Nike, but other companies, other Adidas, Columbia Sportswear, things like that. You'll be able to have a, relationship with some of those bigger companies.
Great. Yeah, and we're going to get into those programs and majors that your school has to offer. So, but why don't you just give us a little bit of feel for the campus, the area around? What do people out here in New Jersey? What should they know about the university?
So the University of Oregon is located in Eugene, Oregon. We're about 2 hours south of Portland. We're about Portland and the Washington state border, and then we're about 3 hours north of the California border. One of the things that we often like to point out also is we're an hour from the Pacific Ocean, and we're an hour from the Cascade Mountain Range. And if you want to go skiing in the morning, you could do that. And then you decide you want to hit the coast in the afternoon, you could do that. You could do that also. We're the second largest city in Oregon, second only to Portland. But I always tell students, don't let that fool you. We've still got a real college town feel to us, and getting across town is easy enough. It doesn't take that long, maybe 20 minutes by car. And just there's a lot of things, the great outdoors we're surrounded by. And if getting into the outdoors is something students want to do, then we've got programs for you to do that also.
Okay, great. So for folks out here, right, who maybe only know Oregon from college sports or Nike or whatever the case may be, tell us a little bit about like some of the traditions at school there. What can you share with us on that?
Traditions. Let's see. Well, one of them actually has to do with sports.
Okay. That's okay.
um, and that is it's we are we're nestled in the Willamette Valley, and the Willamette River runs right through Eugene up to Portland, and then also down south. But we like to say, if you're heading to a football game on a Saturday afternoon, you're leaving campus, you literally go over the river and through the woods, and then you come to an opening. There's a great big O on the side of Autzen Stadium, and that tradition is just kind of the walk across the bridge, and across the Willamette River. Um, we have, homecoming parade each year. Another thing that has become a tradition is graduation day, and that is the duck walk. And that's the students walking through campus in their cap and gown, walking to Matthew Knight Arena, where the graduation is held. If we can find a way to put a duck pun in, or anything to do our, with ducks, we will find it.
As you should, as you should. So great. So you told us a little bit about the sports marketing program at the university, but what is University of Oregon known for, right? If I want to major in blank, this is the school I should go to.
Sure. So our business school, the Lundquist College of Business, is ranked in the top 1% of public business schools in the nation. And so you're going to come in. You can come in as you're going to come in as start as a pre-business major. This is one of our most popular majors. You're going to come in as a pre-business major, and you're going to spend your first 2 years in doing prerequisite courses. And if as long as you have a 3.0 or better by the end of your sophomore year, then you go right into the business school. There's accounting, entrepreneurship, straight business administration, finance, sports marketing, just to name a few of the concentrations within the business school. We're also well known. We've got an excellent architecture program. It's a 5-year program. If a student's interested in architecture, it is a separate application, and you should do a portfolio. They don't expect you to be a pro. They just want us to get an idea of a little bit of what your background is and what you can do, and they'll tell you kind of what they're looking for in that. So the architecture program, 5-year program. That means when a student graduates, they're done. They can go ahead and get their licensure and everything, where ordinarily you would have to go on to graduate school. So that's why we have a 5-year program. We also have a very strong college of education. And so whatever it is in education, family and human services, things like that, you can study at the University of Oregon. A lot of really great hands-on opportunities. Our students are going out into the communities and working in the schools and things like that.
Great. So you mentioned the separate application for the School of Architecture. You mentioned business school being top 1% of the country. Is the standards to get into the business school different than to get into the college regularly?
No, I mean, if you whatever there are a couple of the schools that require that separate application, and they'll architecture, the Honors College, School of Music and Dance, and I think that might be it.
Okay.
But if that's, you put down what you want as a major, and if you meet the basic requirements, you're going to get into the university. With the architecture program, they have to choose a select few for that to be admitted into there. With the college, the Honors College, they can only take so many, and so they do whittle those down from the general application pool.
Okay, great. So what type of student are you typically selecting there? Is there a typical GPA, SAT, ACT score? What are you looking for?
Yeah, so we're looking for a well-rounded student. Okay, we're looking we don't have a minimum GPA, and I don't have the paper on me right now. Also, I tell you, we talk about the middle 50% of what our incoming class was last year, and I think it was like something like a 3.56
Hmm.
and like 4.2 or something like that. That's just the middle 50%, right? That's not to say we won't take higher, we won't take lower, because we're also other than your GPA, we're also looking at grade trends. Maybe you started out slow as a freshman and you worked your way into rock star status by your senior year. We look at that. We want to see an upward grade trend. We look at extracurricular activities. What are you doing outside of the classroom? Um, and we realize not everyone has the ability to go out there and play sports or join all different clubs and stuff like that. Maybe you have to go home and watch your little brother and sister after school. Maybe you have to work a job. Those things count to us just as much as playing on the football team or being in the I don't know, whatever club, the Future Farmers of America, or whatever. So those things all matter. Um, and then of course we're looking at the essays that people write, and if they're really putting a lot into those. And so yeah, we're looking at our students holistically.
Okay. And in the years after COVID here or still in COVID, test score is optional, required?
We even before the pandemic, the University of Oregon had planned to go test optional, and we have done that, and we will stay that way. We are test blind currently for scholarships. That could change.
Of course. Okay. And are the majority of students on campus from the state of Oregon?
We're about 50-50 resident and non-resident.
Okay. So no advantage or disadvantage coming from out of
N-
state.
Not at all. Know that um, up until this year, that New Jersey was in the top 10 of senders to the University of Oregon.
Yep.
So you know,
New
I'm pretty
Jersey
proud of
is New Jersey is number one in the country for sending students out of the state. They just want to get out. I don't know why.
that.
So, all right. Um, Talk to us. And I was looking online a little bit before we spoke earlier today. Talk to us about the financial piece at the university. Sticker price versus actual price. What opportunities are there?
Sure. One of the things that we find is really important to us and that we're really proud of is the Oregon Guarantee. And the Oregon Guarantee says, whatever the tuition and fees are your freshman year when you start, that is guaranteed and will stay that much up to 5 years. And up to 5 years because, like I said, we have the architecture
Yeah.
program, which is a 5-year program. And also, some people might take longer than 4 years. And this allows you to plan, right? And to know what's coming. So for a non-resident student, tuition, fees, room and board is just under $54,000 a year right now. Um, and so that's the basics. And that can shift up and down based on how many credits a student takes in any particular quarter.
Sure, of course. And I was looking online. We're an IB World School. We have the diploma program, we have the career related program, uh,
Mhm.
and there appears to be an IB scholarship available to students. Correct?
Yep, IB scholarship, and yeah, if you have that, we definitely take a look at that. And then there are other scholarships that are available. We have some merit-based scholarships, the Apex, the Summit, and the Excellence. So the Excellence is available to only non-resident students. It's about $15,000 a year. The Apex and the Summit are 10,000, and then the other one's I think 7,400. And with those, all you need to do is meet the GPA requirement, and you'll get that scholarship. As long as you maintain a 3.0 or better while at the University of Oregon, those scholarships are renewable each year.
Great. You had mentioned an essay before. So an essay, part of the application process.
Mhm.
What advice would you give to students? What should you do? What should you not do?
Sure. So there's 3 essays. There is the personal statement, and that is for us, we will give you some suggestions of what you can write about, but really it's you. Talk to us about you, and tell us something we're not going to find anywhere else in your file, nowhere else in your application. Something for me, and this is for me, it personally is something that you're passionate about. All right. And I love reading, essay reading season. At any point in time in my office, you might hear me laughing, you might hear me crying. Sometimes you get incredibly sad stories. Some of them are super, super funny. So that's the primary essay, 650 words or less. Then we have a second optional essay. And when I say optional, I mean optional. And this is, for me, important advice. We'll give you 3 essay prompts, and you answer whichever one of those you want to. And they all 3 have to do kind of with the same thing, and that is diversity. And what is it that you can bring to the University of Oregon to help us meet our goal and our mission of wanting to be a more diverse campus, and whatever that means to you. And my advice is, if you've got something to say on the subject, write it. If you're just filling in that box because you think, I have to fill this in, that's what they want me to do, and you're just putting words down on a page, don't do it. Really, if you've got something to say, then absolutely fill it out. Answer that optional question. And then the third essay is the special circumstances portion of the essay. And that is, if you have something on your transcript in your file that you think needs to be explained. If sophomore year, you got really sick and you're out of school for a while and your grades took a nosedive and then it went back up. Don't make me guess as to what happened there. Tell me about it. Other things that go in special circumstances, if a student's been diagnosed with ADHD or anything in that realm, and it affected your grades, tell us about it. So that's a special circumstances portion of the application.
Fair. Good. Thank you. And Joelle, are you the one who reads the applications from New Jersey?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And am I correct in saying this? You're always looking for reasons to accept students, not deny students, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Nothing needs more than that needs to be said. It's true.
I often tell students that, and they give me that tilted head, "Are you serious?" look, and that's why I like to ask that question, because
Yeah.
Every rep I've ever talked to has said we're looking for reasons to let you in.
Absolutely.
Okay. So look, you've told us a lot here today about the school, about the application process, the unique things of the university. So let's end with these 2 questions. One is, what advice would you give to a student, whether it be junior year and they're just starting this process, senior year and they're putting the finishing touches on the application, your choice.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give that student? And second, is there anything else you want to tell us about the university that we didn't touch upon?
Advice to a student filling out, start early. Start early in your search if you can, and I realize it's not always possible. Try to get your top few schools, and if you can, visit. That's what got me here to the University of Oregon. I graduated from the U of O a long time ago, and I'm from Oregon, and I went to a few campuses, and this is where I felt comfortable. This felt like home to me. And so I think for a lot of people, maybe it's the majors that a school offers, but I also think you should feel like you're at home, and that's what it was for me. Another piece of advice that I give my students all the time: start early. Start early looking for scholarships. Freshman, sophomore year is not too early. I know that going to college is not cheap. And so I encourage students to start searching, Google searches. Our website has some outside entities that you can work with and looking for scholarships. And so those are a couple of things that are really important to me.
Great. I do have a follow-up. I lied. There was one more. You mentioned visiting. Is demonstrated interest something that the university considers in the admissions process?
A little bit, yeah. I like the chance to get to know some of the students that might be coming into the university. I've got students that I've watched them, apply, get accepted, and then I mentioned graduation. If I'm on campus, I always go to graduation, and I always look forward to seeing my students that I have helped to get into the U of O to graduate.
No, that's great to hear. Joelle, thank you so much for the time. Is there anything else you want to tell us about the university before we sign off?
I love the University of Oregon. I think that we are welcoming. I think that we are growing. Another thing I often like to say is, like I said, I graduated back in 1986, and the University of Oregon has come a long way since then, in the programs and the services that we have to offer students. If you have any special needs or anything like that, we want to work with students here, and we want to see students succeed at the University of Oregon. And that's why I love my university.
Well, listen, it sounds like a great place, and hopefully one day I can get out to campus and meet you face to face, and maybe walk across that bridge to a game.
All righty. Awesome.
All right, Joelle, thank you very much. Really appreciate the time.
You're very, very welcome. And we always end here at the U of O by saying, "Go Ducks."
Go Ducks. Take care.